Hi everyone, this is Holly from Hot Humble Pie. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is all about coffee filters. For this first project, I'm going to use this bucket that I found at the Dollar Tree, but you want to look for something about this size and you don't want the rim to be overly thick. The first thing I did was just take out about 7 coffee filters, maybe 10 at a time, and then I just had this water bottle from Dollar Tree as well, and I misted them with water in the front and the back, and then you can kind of see I just lift up layers here and there if I feel like I'm not relaxing the wrinkles. You want to get the little creases out that look like an accordion there the best you can, but you don't have to saturate them. They fall out as time goes on, and you are going to need quite a few coffee filters for this. I think I did maybe 1/4 or 1/3 of the package. And then you're just going to start bending them over the edge of this bucket. And I'm just adding a little glue on the edge of each one right there. And you're just going to keep doing this until you get to the center. You'll see it here. This is definitely another visual DIY you need to kind of watch. You can see how I'm slowly building it up here and how I'm adding glue. You can even add glue across the seams just to reinforce the strength. I start doing it right there. See how I hit 2 coffee filters with the hot glue? I decided when I got to this point, or actually halfway through, that was the better way to approach this. It just gives it even more stability, and look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. I saw this online and I couldn't wait to try it because it's so beautiful and it's so easy to do. And I just fluffed out my, because there's that little edge there. There's a little gap where you had it on the bucket, right? So I just fluffed it out, and you could certainly stop there. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Now here's what I would do differently. See how I'm cutting that right there because I'm going to add some extra petals in there just to fill it up. I would have just folded in half and put the folded piece in there because that would have added 2 petals, right? So always wiser in hindsight, but I recommend you just don't cut it. Just go ahead and put it in there if you feel like you need more fullness in those areas. And now I'm kind of curling the edges, right? Making it look more like a rose. And then you flip your rose over and you start gluing all the loose seams on the sides, on the bottom, because that kind of holds the whole thing together. I took some Cameo Pink from Apple Barrel Paint, and I'm going to put a few drops inside this water bottle here, again from Dollar Tree. It's just a squirt bottle, and I shook it all up, and I'm going to spray this rose. This is how I dye my roses. I did this back in 2012. I made about 100 roses for my own wedding, and I wanted them to look real. I didn't want the frayed edges. I didn't want people, I could have used silk flowers. Looking back, I probably should have because it would have been easier. But I went ahead and I made my own, and I just took a big Zepp spray bottle that you get from Home Depot, put a cream color in it, sprayed them all down at one time, and then sprayed some pink on top, and they looked totally real. They were beautiful. This is a simple way to dye your coffee filters. Very effective. Then I took some of the antique wax and I just watered it down, and I'm spraying this rose to kind of antique it. You can skip this part. That's what makes these so fun. They are very personal. You can make them whatever color you want. And I'm giving it a quick blow dry. So I also wanted to do the edges with the antique wax, so I made it a little bit more concentrated. I added some more wax to the water and just hit the edges of this rose to give it more dimension. Again, this is personal preference. This is just how I wanted my rose to look. You don't have to do this, but I wanted to show it in case someone else wants to do it this way. And I took my blow dryer, again, blow dried it. You're going to see me curl it here with a pen. I'm just curling the petals that are a little bit too straight. Now, I didn't film this part. I do go back and add more pink paint to the water and spray it again because I was in the mood for more color. Look at this though. This is the final outcome. That is the most beautiful rose. You could spray it with a lacquer about 2 or 3 times to make it stiffer. You can put it as a centerpiece in a bathroom, in the kitchen, wherever you want, just beautiful home decor. Even outside if it's under a porch. I love these, and they are so easy to make. For this project, I grabbed a garden dish from Dollar Tree and I removed the sticker. I also found this at the Dollar Tree and I thought it was really pretty because of the flowers, but we're going to use it for this craft today. Next, I'm applying super glue gel on the edge there that kind of lifts up that ridge, because that's actually where your plastic bowl is going to hit. It's not going to hit anywhere else. As you can see, I put glue in the other areas first and I was like, whoops. So you want to get it right on that little ridge, and I pressed it down. Now I'm just taking some more glue and I'm putting it in the area where it meets there and smoothing it out just to fill in that area a little bit and to add some more security. And now I'm going to use Mod Podge, and we're going to take some coffee filters and wet them to, again, relax the wrinkles out of them because we're just wanting flat paper for this. And I'm applying the Mod Podge, and then I'm going to cover this entire thing with the coffee filters. And this is what it looks like more or less. And I just added as you go, if you feel like there's too many wrinkles, you can add some more water. You can water down some glue. You just kind of keep working with it. But I definitely wanted to do almost like a faux textured leather bowl. I've seen this in high-end modern decor before, and I just thought it would be fun to try and make. And I was going to do 2 coats of white paint it white, and then do the antique wax to make it like a brown leather bowl, which would be pretty. But I decided to paint it all black because that's how I saw it. And I'm showing you how it looks if you leave the outside white and the inside black, because I actually thought the white and black was worth showing real quick. You'd have to do 2 coats of white. But before I show you the final reveal, because this is so neat, we're going to take a quick break. All right, let's talk about something I have been loving lately, Lumi. I'm always on the lookout for products that are safe, effective, and fit my lifestyle, and Lumi checks all the boxes. Lumi is a whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to block odor for up to 72 hours. Yes, 72 hours. It's not just for your underarms. You can use it on your feet, under your chest, or anywhere else you want to stay fresh. I've been using the Vanilla Bliss scent on my river walks, and it's this subtle, calming vibe that I am totally obsessed with. But what I love most about Lumi is that it's free of aluminum, baking soda, and parabens, so it's gentle on my skin. It's also cruelty-free and vegan, which aligns with my values. Oh, and it's also doctor developed, created by OBGYN Shannon Klingman, so you know it's legit. Lumi is easy to apply. Just a little bit goes a long way. I've been using the smooth solid, but I also have the spray. They have creams. I've tried them all. They're all excellent. It's pH optimized, so it works with your body's natural chemistry to keep the odor at bay. Whether I'm heading on my daily walk or exercising, Lumi keeps me feeling fresh all day long. Lumi has been a game changer for me, and I think you'll love it too. Lumi's starter pack bundle is a great deal for new customers. It comes with a full-size stick deodorant, a cream deodorant tube, or a spray deodorant, 2 free products like the wipes or mini body wash, free US shipping, and just for my followers, Lumi is offering an extra $5 off when you click the link in the description box down below and enter code HHPIE. So that's HHPIE at checkout. That's a deal of over 40% off. And thank you to Lumi for sponsoring today's video. And here is the final reveal. I think this is so cool looking. It literally looks like faux leather. I've, again, seen this stuff online. It's usually modern decor, like Anthropologie and stuff, but it's a total high-end decor piece. And as it turns out, I popped my little rose in that you saw earlier, and that's how I got this look, and look how beautiful. And the whole thing is like a coffee filter project. This is so stunning, and it's a perfect fit for your rose. I am so excited to share this one with you because this one came out way better. Totally unexpected result than what I had envisioned. I mean, it really knocked me out, you guys. This is beautiful how it turns out. So you're going to need a cone from Dollar Tree, and of course you're going to need the coffee filters. And for this one, you actually want to leave the accordion wrinkles in there. And I'm just cutting out the flat part, which is like the inner circle. So you kind of like the bottom of the coffee filter, I guess, where you would set your coffee grounds. And you're going to go and glue this around the cone all the way up. You're going to space each one of them out about 1/8 of an inch. The tinier the spacing is, you don't want to make it so tiny that you can't see the spacing, but the tinier the spacing is in between each coffee filter, the better this is going to look. And I'm just gluing it down. You can see how I'm adjusting. It's like, to see it like a skirt. Like literally like a little skirt that someone's wearing, and you kind of pull it down. See how I'm pulling and adjusting it to make sure it's nice and even, because those grooves, well, the areas in between each coffee filter that you see at the bottom of the coffee filter, really important that those are straight and even, because that's how you get your beautiful result. So I do take and secure it right here with glue. So each coffee filter, I take and either use my finger or this little spatula here. A lot of people ask me about that. I got it at the Dollar Tree, used it years ago. It was a big hit on YouTube. It's just a spatula that's 100% silicone at Dollar Tree. They did change the original ones and make them with too much plastic, so they suck now. So you do have to look for this pink one. It has like 2 of the little spatulas on either end that has more silicone in it, so the hot glue doesn't stick to it. But anyway, that's what it is. And then I just finished it off here, and you can see where I'm using my fingers to make sure the little creases stay in there. So I don't know if you noticed that I took 2 of my little fingers and kind of pinched and squeezed, because you don't want it to go flat. And then this is how I finished off the top. And I left this in because it can be a little tricky if you don't see me do this part. So I put that final filter on right here. And then I put one at the top that looks like this, where it just goes about 1/2 inch above the cone. And I'm going to glue that down on top of the cone. So you'll see me do it right here. And now I'm pointing out the spacing. See the spacing? You don't want the spacing to be bigger than that. And then for the top, I took about 7 to 10 coffee filters. They were a big chunk. You know, I didn't do just one because you need the top to be stiffer, right? Because it doesn't have the styrofoam under there anymore. So you need it to hold up. It has to be a bit stronger. So you're going to use multiple coffee filters here, and you can make this as thick as you want. And I'm just cutting out a little cone shape because that's what's going to go on the top. And of course, we're making a little tree here. But again, the way it came out, you'll see, it was just so shocking because I thought, okay, this looks cute. We're going to keep going here. We're going to see what happens. Right now, it just looks like a cone covered in coffee filters. You could stop here. I mean, it doesn't look horrible. This is kind of a cute conversation piece for decor, especially at Christmas time or winter time. But what it ends up looking like after I finish it off, again, wow. So I put that on, right? We're gluing it down. And now I'm going to take and use some watered down wax. Again, you can use any antique wax for this. It doesn't have to be the folklore. I just use the folklore one because that's what I've been using for years. And I'm mixing it up with a bit of water, and we're just going to take this chip brush and start saturating the filters, right? Because coffee filters soak up moisture. It kind of runs into the filter. So you don't need very much for this. You just kind of, in fact, I think I could have even made this not so watery. I could have made it with less water, but I went ahead and did my first coat, dried it off, and I realized because the stain, I guess, wasn't perfectly mixed, or I just touched it in areas more than once. I was getting these dark and light different, you can see it right there, like a different design on there, like hues, right? So I go with my little, I thought, oh, I'm going to accentuate that. I'm not going to move away from that. So I added more antique wax to the water to make it darker. And then I purposely took this little brush to add those little darker sections in so that we have this. And you guys, that looks like a wood tree. I have seen things like this at Hobby Lobby, literally exactly like this, but they're hard to the touch because they are really wood. They're real wood. So I used a starter, like seed starter, little plant pot that I got from Family Dollar. You can get them at Dollar Tree. And I pushed some foam in that was free from some Amazon thing that I got. Took a skewer, pushed it down. Now I did use Excelsior, and I ended up taking that out because it was making it crooked where it wouldn't sit flat. So you don't need that. You can skip that. And I am going to change it out for a terracotta pot because the next day when I looked at these, I thought, you know what? If I put clear lacquer on that, like a high gloss one, and I do like 3 or 4 coats to make this totally stiff, because remember, it has paint in, it has wax in, all of these projects do, and when they dry, they're much stiffer than just regular coffee filters. So when you add 2 or 3 coats of a varnish or a lacquer, you're going to get a really durable decor piece that looks like faux wood. I have seen little trees like this in Hobby Lobby and Home Goods before, and they're so beautiful for winter decor and Christmas decor, or even all year round. Love this one, highly recommended craft. So for this one, I'm going to use some of those cone filters because they're a little thicker and stronger. Although if I had to do this again in hindsight, I think I would glue 2 of them together with like just regular school glue and then do the project just to make it even thicker. But it came out really nice. It's just, I only made 2 of them, and you'll see that this is something, if you love Scandinavian decor, this is like right up there with that. So you take and you trim off that little edge there and at the bottom as well. And you're going to end up with it's not really a triangle, I guess. It's more, it looks like a skirt. I don't know why, but I was looking at this thinking that looks like a woman's skirt when you sew. Anyway, once you get this, you're going to go ahead and start folding it like an accordion. I think I've used that word a bunch of times in this video, but you are going to fold it back and forth like this, like a fan or an accordion. And then once you've done that, again, this is a visual, so there's not much I can say here. You're going to have to watch. On the inside, when you're done on that inner one, make sure that's the inside, not the outside. With the shorter pieces, you're going to want to glue the inside together using a little bit of hot glue. And then I took and trimmed the top off, and just, to make it even, which doesn't change anything. And I also flipped it on the other side and made sure the inside seam there stuck together. You just saw me glue it. And then I'm going to add it to these. So I've already glued these on the outside to each other, and you want to make sure they're facing the right direction. Of course, like that little part, that's a fold that I glued together to make sure it stays together because I liked that look. I made sure that they're all facing on the right side. And here I'm going to do it again so you can see what I'm talking about. See how that was coming apart? I just didn't care for that. So I went ahead and glued it together. And then I went ahead and glued that one on to the other ones. Next, you're going to fan it out and attach the last two sides, I guess, that you want. And you can make these as full as you want. I did 8 pieces, I think, but you could do 10 or even 12 to make them, they take on a completely different look and characteristic the more that you do. And you just glue it together and then straighten it out. And you can see right there, I made like a little snowflake, or in this case, I thought it looked almost like a poinsettia. So I'm just making sure that I crease everything. See what I'm doing? To make sure that it really takes on, I like that, the look of the folds in the center. And for me, I decided to make this a poinsettia. That's the vibe, but you certainly could skip the bead and it is a snowflake. And I glued a half wooden bead in the center and kind of wiggled it around to make sure it kind of held everything in the place that I wanted. And I made a total of 2 of these. Aren't those cute? And you can dye your coffee filters too to make these red, purple, whatever you wanted. You can make little different flowers. Again, I'm thinking more like Christmas or winter decor, like a snowflake or a poinsettia. They would look pretty hanging in a tree, hanging from your ceiling. I've seen things like this in Scandinavian decor. They make snowflakes, big ones, like big versions, but very, very beautiful. You can do it with coffee filters, and you can do it with anything really. You could use cardstock or poster board if you want to make really thick ones, but they come up so cute. I love this one. It's a fun thing to do with coffee filters. It's family friendly. Let me know what you thought about today's video. Tell me which one was your favorite. And don't forget to check out Mow May today. They've got some awesome products. And of course, if you had fun today and enjoyed this video, here's another one I think you'll enjoy watching next.